everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Ungrownups video transmission. I'm your host, Mark, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Hot Toys MMS 216 Man of Steel General Zod. This is one of the last few Hot Toys figures that I'll be picking up this year. Very on the fence about the Dark World, Thor the Dark World Loki, and but I will be getting the new Amazing Spider-Man 2 Spider-Man if he does indeed come out in October, like he is scheduled to at this point, and if he doesn't slip to 2015. But barring those two purchases, this may be the last Hot Toys figure that I buy for quite some time, and I'm very happy that it's General Zod. It's a figure I've been looking forward to for a long time, and Hot Toys didn't miss the release date by too much. He was, when he was announced, he was scheduled to come out in April of 2014. He actually came out in May of 2014. So they didn't miss that release date by too much. I do love this packaging. I love that we see, Metropolis right here. I love that we see the big World Destroyer, the World Engine, right there in the middle, bearing down. We see some planes and some smoke. Nice texturing on the top of the package that we saw with the He-Man release. The Superman release. What am I thinking about? It is Saturday morning. Maybe I'm in a cartoon mood. But you've got warnings and choking hazards here on the back. You've got nice logo right here, which is hard to see, but it's embossed, and nice embossing on the logo here. You'll notice that, well, maybe you won't, because I gotta back it up a little bit. But I do have a corner that's banged up a little bit. So thank you, UPS delivery man, for that. I really appreciate it. There is a flap on the box. You can actually open it up, and hopefully you can see we have the cast and crew here, basically the people who worked on the figure, and a big old window box that's basically the shape of the Superman shield at the top and at the bottom. It's like they took the shield and elongated it, and that's the window that we get. Of course, to see General Zod, but he is not in there because there is no way I could leave a figure as cool as this in the box for long. So, now that I've already got him opened up and he's not in the box, let's take a closer look at old Michael Shannon himself. Okay, so we have General Zod opened up out of the package. You will notice, however, General Zod does not have on any hands, and that's because we're going to take a look at each one of them individually. General Zod doesn't come with a lot, but what he does come with is very, very nice. He does come with 3 different sets of hands. They all match, so that's really nice. He does come with his helmeted version of his head sculpt over here, which is absolutely fantastic and one of the best inclusions they could have added. And he does also come with a set of instructions that tell you how to change the heads, how to put on the cape, blah, blah, blah. Also, his cape is actually an added accessory. It comes much like Batman capes do, folded and wrapped around a piece of cardboard and in its own tray for shipping. But once you get the figure out, you can put it on. And it is removable. You can put it on, take it off, and it's not altogether that hard. It's also not easy. I think you definitely need a pair of tweezers to do it properly, but it's not hard to put on and remove. Because as we know, General Zod only wore his cape for about half the movie, and for the rest of the movie he walked around without it. So yeah, this is General Zod, and what a release this is. This, already in May, could be my figure of the year, no doubt. I just love this figure so much. I love the way Zod was portrayed in the film, and I loved Michael Shannon in the role. I think he brought a very special kind of maniacal, sort of a real sadistic menace to the role, and a very believable character. I believed his motivation. In many ways, I kind of feel like General Zod stole the show. But anyway, what a fantastic release. We're going to take a closer look, of course, at the accessories, the base, and the figure itself. But let's start off with those accessories. Okay, taking a closer look at all of General Zod's nasty little accessories here. I first want to start off with the head sculpts. And I just want to get really close in here and just show off this fantastic head sculpt. Now, I know a lot of people, pardon my phone over there, I need to turn it off. I know a lot of people have complained about this head sculpt with it being so emotional and over the top. But I absolutely love this head sculpt. I don't mind the teeth being bared. I love his look. Much like the Henry Cavill head sculpt, the expression sort of changes depending on how you tilt the head. You tilt it down, he looks very, very evil, and he looks quite sinister even from below. Henry Cavill's look, I believe, would go from a little more from determined to a little angry, depending on how you tilted the head. But the detail here is just incredible. The eyes are just absolutely beautiful. The scarring on the side of the head looks fantastic. The hair and the coloring and the beard, the paint apps and the beard are absolutely phenomenal. And very nice Caesar cut on this figure. It just looks absolutely incredible. And I think it is spot on for the way that Michael Shannon looked in the role. It just looks so incredibly good. My hope for the Man of Steel line is that we get another General Zod. I would very much like a General Zod in what is being called his final battle suit, or the Temptation of Superman suit, where he had on just the full black. I think maybe Superman had on the full black in that one, in that scene. But the way General Zod looks at the end of the film, when him and Superman battle, I want him in the full black suit with the shield, and I would like a different head sculpt. I don't care if this is a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive that I'll have to get from SideshowToys.com or whatever, but I would love a second head that's not as menacing and maybe with his mouth closed and a little more evil look on his face. But absolutely fantastic head sculpt. From there, we're going to go ahead and go to his helmeted version, which is equally amazing. Now, I'm going to start off with a complaint about this head sculpt. One, my only complaint about this entire set, and it comes with this head sculpt. I really do wish, like in the film, that this part was translucent and that we could see a little bit of this head sculpt inside. I don't think that's beyond the realm of Hot Toys' capability. I think they could pull that off. I think it would look fantastic. They have given it sort of the look and feel like it's, ebbing and flowing out of sort of translucency, and I like that. The paint apps on here are absolutely fantastic, but I do wish that there was a translucency to it, like a dark plastic on top of it, and we could see a little of the flesh tone and hair underneath. I think that would make it look all the much better. But that's pie in the sky, kind of thinking, and I'm just extremely happy that Hot Toys included this at all instead of making this a separate figure. This head sculpt is amazing. And so just so you know, this is just a single head sculpt that pops on. This is not a helmet that actually fits over the head. And I'm really glad they went that route as well. The detailing, the paint apps, this is just incredible. And I do agree with everybody that, yes, it does look like the alien spacesuit in Prometheus. It totally looks like that. And, it also looks like a flight mask. I dig that. I just dig everything about it. This is quite the menacing helmet. You put this on the figure and he looks incredible. So kudos to Hot Toys. It's probably the best head sculpt of the year right here. We're also going to take a look at the hands. You've got two very menacing, did I pick up the right hand? No, I didn't. You got two hands that are like grasping. This is sort of that bad guy, like gripping into the air. I'll take over the world. The gloves look fantastic, and they're just about the only part of the armor that's actually symmetrical. And we'll look at that when we look at the armor on the figure as well. But I love these hands. I love that instead of relaxed palms that we get more gesturing hands, like come to me, be a part of me, be a part of what we're doing. And this is even the hand pose that he struck when he drops at the end of the movie and he's like, "Where did you train? A farm?" And he lets go of his armor and starts coming off. This is the hand pose that he used there, and I like that. And I guess one could argue these are relaxed palms, but I don't really see them like that. I see them more as gesturing. So I'm glad we didn't get wasted relaxed palms. And of course, two big honking punchers. Of course, we need the punchers. So these look equally as good. Now, the fact that these fingers are armored, I'm surprised that we didn't get, like with Iron Man, a set of hands where the fingers could move, that would have been a really nice inclusion as well. But maybe they're trying to cut costs and keep prices down. Who knows? But taking all of that aside, of course, we do get a couple of black hand pegs, which is good. Always need those. And now we'll take a look at the base. General Zod's base has got the Zod house emblem on there, which is really nice. Nice nameplate right there. You see I haven't taken the plastic off yet because this is going right back in the package because my DTOF doesn't have room. My Superman shelf doesn't have room to place all these really awesome, nice looking bases. So if I ever streamline my cabinets, put one or two figures per shelf, then I'll bust these back out. But for the sake of the rest of this review, you're probably going to see a couple of dynamic stands in use instead of the actual base. But it looks really incredible and super nice as well. So we looked at all the accessories. Let's bring on the man himself and take a better look at General Zod. Okay, we've zoomed in here on General Zod. And just want to go over the finer details of this crazily detailed suit. We will go ahead and look at the head in both this form and the helmeted version while we're here. So I just wanted to show how the figure looks with the head sculpt on with this enormous, Gears of War looking collar that kind of goes all the way around his head. And if General Zod seems a little unstable as I move him around, it's because his ankle joints are very loose. And I've seen that in a number of videos. So I don't think it's just my particular General Zod. I think it's something that's indicative of all the figures that have been produced. It's not unusable. He's currently not using a stand. He's standing up on his own, but he does have a tendency to want to tip over from time to time. So we've already taken a closer look at this head sculpt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and switch it out. Head comes off very easy. It is double jointed. There is another ball joint down in the neck, so you do get a lot of range of motion there. And to put the new helmet on, you just sort of tuck the bottom part of the helmet down on the chest, and then just press it down. And it sounds a lot more easy than apparently it is to actually do. But there you have it. Now, there has been some complaints, and rightly so, that when you move the head in some angles, and hopefully this is as tall as I can make my camera stand, my tripod, there are certain positions that you put the helmet in to where you can see his neck. And of course, that is not film accurate. It was sort of seamless. And hopefully you guys know this, but just in case you don't, there was not an actual suit produced for the film. So there were parts and pieces made, but for the most part, General Zod, and I'm assuming Feora, and even, I know the guy's name was not Non, but whatever the bigger guy's name was, their suits were all computer generated. So they had on motion tracking suits with panels and squares and dots, and all the suits were CG and designed later and laid in post, which is a very bizarre way to go about it, and certainly raises your budget for CG and the difficulty of shooting. But I think it delivered a better product because the suit can be more consistent throughout, and it's not unheard of. They do the Iron Man suits this way from time to time, and War Machine, so it's not completely unheard of. So anyway, you can see how the suit looks with the helmet, and as you notice, every once in a while you can catch a peek at his neck, and it is what it is. But for the most part, when you don't have a digital camera zoomed all the way in and you're looking under normal lighting situations and conditions, you can't really see it. So it definitely doesn't bother me. And as you can see, he looks quite menacing. So I'm going to go ahead and lower my tripod a little bit and even zoom out a bit, because I want to be able to give you a really good view of this armor, which is just absolutely fantastic. One of the things that I never really paid attention to in the movie was that, and I didn't really know until I got this figure, was that his suit is very asymmetrical. There's not a lot of symmetry going on here. You'll notice the two shoulder pads, which are on hinges and move up to allow for movement in the arms, which is great and fantastic. You'll notice that each one of them is different. So you have this one that looks very medieval-ish on this side, and on this side you got something more science fiction-y. It looks more like something out of the Predator armor, which is really, really cool. You've got this really nice chest piece right here in the front, and this is actually all of his armor is a separate piece. If anybody has gone out there and watched the Bomb Show review, they actually take the figure completely apart. They don't show the figure being taken apart, so there's no telling how much breaking, cutting, and breaking of seals and glue lines had to be done. But they actually remove all the armor piece by piece and show you what he looks like underneath. So all the armor is separate. None of it is made onto him, but of course you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to take it apart. Lifting up you can see how low on his back, which is very movie accurate, his cloak hangs. And if we lift it up, you can actually see how it works. Right here on his back is, if I move this out of the way, you can see that there's a little strip of gray plastic, much like this. It's very soft and pliable. And the cloak just actually pokes down underneath it and then comes back around and then snaps to itself. So you can see a little snap right there. You have two of those, one on each side. And so you can actually snap his cloak onto him. And it works out very nicely. Draping this over for a minute, I definitely want to show off the back of this figure because it's a spot on General Zod we don't typically get to see. You can see some of his back armor and some of the rivets and everything that goes into it. It even looks like a face that looks kind of menacing right there. I think he looks fantastic with the cape on or off. Either way, you can't really go wrong. And I love the way the cape feels. It's long, it's velvety, and it's very, very soft. And honestly, these are the type of capes Hot Toys should have been giving Batman all along. They finally give us a fantastic Batman cape, and they put it on General Zod. So I'm going to move down a little bit further, get him to stand up, and I'm going to lower my tripod a little bit further, show off some of the ab plating, the ab armor, and you can see, if I hold him steady, that the figure has got quite a bit of motion in the ab crunch area. So it is hindered somewhat, but you can actually feel the ab crunch working underneath. You can feel it underneath the armor, which is like a soft rubber. So we lift the arms up. You can see underneath he does have on the black Superman suit, just a black version, but unfortunately he doesn't have on the shield. So if you were to remove all of this armor and get it all off, you would not have a decent looking suit. And I'm really hoping we get one of those one of these days. I will give Hot Toys my money in a heartbeat for that figure. So I'm going to bend his arm here, and I wanted to show off the fact that the gauntlets, again, are not symmetrical. So on this side, you have more of that science fiction sort of armor plating. Around this side, you've got some tubes running on the inside, and this is a separate piece, and it will slide off when you take the hands off, so you do have to be careful. But you've got some tubes, some loose tubes running along the inside. So there's a little bit of tubing on this side of the inside of the gauntlet, but they're mostly sculpted downward. But you can see that this has got a much more like industrial. There's more armor plates on this side than this arm. So you've got, looks to be about 5 here, whereas here you've got like 4, and they're larger and spaced out. You can see how they're different. So again, some asymmetricalness going on. Asymmetry. I should have just said that. So moving down to his belt and groin area, you can see what looks to be, this is probably where the belt actually attaches. You can see where it's made to look like it connects, but it actually doesn't right here. And you can see how you've got some spiky armor plates and some, looks like hinges on this side, whereas on this side, you've actually got a series of grenades, which I never noticed in the film either, which is really cool. So his hip guards here on the side, which are flexible, are symmetrical. One of the things we did miss was that even the upper bicep armor is even asymmetrical. So you've got some curved lines on this side, whereas on this side you've got less lines and more of a plating on that. So just wanted to show that off as well. And it really shows that this was an armor set built, or maybe built and then customized by an actual fighting general. So the upper thigh pieces are pretty symmetrical. It looks like from here on out, everything is fairly symmetrical. Knee pads are symmetrical. You can get good range of motion. Back up a little bit with the legs, and you just have to fiddle with the plating to keep it out of your way while you move the figure around. But I did want to show he does have individual, like he has foot armor, foot articulation, but he also has toe articulation, which is really good for some pushing off poses. And I'll show you, you can push the feet down. Just want to tilt the camera down so you can see this. But you'll see how the figure wants to rock forward. So you do really have to sort of like push his feet down and kind of stand him back a little bit, leaning back a little bit to get it to set before moving him again. And that's a closer look at the armor on General Zod, which is extremely impressive. This is just a figure that every ounce of the figure was well thought out and planned, and it's really a testament to the design of the suit in the film, and just looks absolutely fantastic. And I really, really dig it. And I'm a big fan of this figure, if you can't tell already. He just looks incredible. So, yeah, that's a closer look at the detailed armor. So why don't we get this guy posed up, get him in a couple poses, and get on out of this review. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed those poses, and sorry for the lack of turntableness at the end with Superman. There was just no way I was going to be able to get those scenes to rotate. My the turntable that I have is not strong enough to support the weight of even General Zod and one of the dynamic flight stands. So that's why there's no rotation, and they're just two big figures, and you just can't get them on that one little turntable. Not mine, anyway. So you guys know how I like to end these reviews, and that's how the figure's going to stay on my shelf. And for the time being, this is going to be the pose. Struck, very villainous pose. I'm actually torn between this head sculpt and the one with the helmet. For once, I don't know which head to pose with because I like both of them, but nonetheless, this is how it's going to go for now, and I'll probably change it up from time to time. I'm actually probably going to leave his head in the cabinet instead of storing it because I'll change it that often. But because I have him looking slightly to his right, I'm going to go ahead and go with this head because, you know, once you put the helmet on, it's kind of hard to turn the head around. So that's going to about do it for this review. As always, we're going to ask if you dug it. Please like, comment, or subscribe, and be sure to check out all of our brand new toy reviews right here on youtube.com/ungrownups. So until next time, peace.